தந்தானே அவதரித்த திருநாளை போற்றி பண்பாடி பூமிக்கு வந்த நாளை வாழ்த்தி கொண்டாடி நம்ம தெய்வம் பூமிக்கு வந்த நாடு இன்று உலகமே கொண்டாடும் திருநாடு. உலக வாழ்க்கையிலே என்றும் நிலையாய் அழியா பொருளாய் தர்மம் காப்பவனே விதியையும் அவதரித்த திருநாளை போற்றி பண்பாடி பூமிக்கு வந்த நாளை வாழ்த்தி கொண்டாடி நம்ம தெய்வம் பூமிக்கு வந்த நாடு இன்று உலகமே கொண்டாடும் திருநாடு.
As living ultimate manifestation of Paramashiva, I bless you all. Let's all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, collective integrity, enriching, causing, living Paramadvaitam, Shuddhadvaita Saivam, the state, space, powers, being, superconsciousness, and Kailasa of Paramashiva. Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. The eternal bliss, Nithyananda. Thank you. Be blissful.
श्री कैलासोन्नत द्वादशान्त श्यामला पीठारूढ़ श्री मीनाक्षि सुंदरेश परमेश्वरा भिन्नस्वरूपा परशिवपुत्ररत्न कुमार गुरु
manual under the guidance of Jnanandam Paramasukhanam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandva Jnanandam Paramasukhanam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandva. Let's go through the disclaimers. Security measures. No. Please be aware of the important here from Bhagwan himself explaining what is power manifestation. From Bhagwan himself explaining what is power manifestation.
All the 25 states of consciousness, when it happens in you out of your free will and consciousness, it is powerfulness. That's all. You fall into dream, it is powerlessness. When you decide to dream, it is powerfulness. In your whole being and doing, manifest all the powers. Understand, power manifest, it is just cognitive shift. It's not work. Work is a 4-letter word. Being alive. Static matter, dynamic activity. Everything listens to you. Everything is frequency, not work.
Now let's who land on the planet Earth.
Beautifully, Bhagavan explained. It is a cognitive shift how the manifestation happens from what we understand as body and mind impossibilities to the ultimate possibilities that we can create ourselves. It's a superconscious space that we can experience. Millions have experienced it, and each one of us can experience it. And that is the science of our manifestation. It is repeatable and it is doable for each one of us. The pramanas supporting, the evidences supporting for the power of mind reading. The Shastra Pramana, the eternal unchangeable truth revealed in the source scriptures, the Vedas and the Agamas. Apta Pramana, the experience and the results of the Aptas, millions of rishis, munis, kanas, nainamas, alvars, siddhas, all of them are authority of Hinduism. who manifest all the powers by having the cognitive shift. The Atma Pramana, account of His Divine Holiness, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, this millennium's avatar's personal experience of our manifestation. Bhagavan beautifully plays the Leela, how the cognitive shift, the initiation happens in him, and how he receives the initiation and manifests all the powers of Paramashiva. Shakshi Pramana, the experience of millions of disciple devotees, followers, initiated by Bhagavan into the science of our manifestation. Bhagavan beautifully initiates all of us in Kailash Courtyard, and he says he is more present than all of us, manifesting the powers of Paramashiva. Pratyaksha Pramana, the scientific study measuring the effect of being in the enlightened state. Beautifully, not just the thoughtless space, also all these powers manifest as reality is scientifically measured. Now let's go to the Shastra Pramana. Shastra Pramana is from Shiva Sutra, Sutra 1.15. For the power of mind reading.
दृश्यस्वापदर्शनम् हृदये चित्तसंघातद् दृश्यस्वापदर्शनम्.
Bhagavan Paramashiva says, when the individual mind is united in the core consciousness, every observer or objective phenomena, and even the absence of every objective phenomena, is directly experienced as a form of consciousness and appears in its essential reality as it is. Bhagavan Paramashiva says beautifully how the individual mind unites in the core of consciousness. When the camphor is lit, the camphor immediately starts catching the fire and starts burning. But if there is a banana stem which is left, which cannot be lit because it's not dry, it's very wet, and we have to keep it in the sun, probably dry it for few months, and then it catches. How much we are ready to receive. There are great siddhas who have manifested the superconscious breakthrough in few months, in few seconds, and like the camphor. But there are people who have come back many births to even catch up the glimpse of the superconscious space. What is that space that we can experience? Bhagavan Paramashiva beautifully says how every objective, very observable or objective phenomena, or even the absence of every objective phenomena, is directly experienced as a form of consciousness. If we wake up into the superconscious space, Paramashiva, and start living, recognizing ourselves that we are manifesting everything as our reality. Even now, we are manifesting. The body does not know anything. If the body is left to sleep, it just be there. If the body is left and we die, it's still there. It doesn't demand or it doesn't possess us. It doesn't ask us anything. This very body that we carry keep on changing also. What we had as a small kid, we do not have as a youth, and what we had as a youth, we do not have as in the grown up or old age. It completely changes what we possess, and that keeps aging because of the fear and greed. Clearly it is seen in science how we lose the whole context and how we are losing all the data that we need to copy into the next DNA that is happening in our cell recreation, regeneration. But because of our fear and greed, it starts more and more losing, and finally the telomeres at the end of the DNA is not capable of holding the DNA, and simply it dies out. That the science has given how we are completely dissolving into again the birth and death cycle. Instead, we can regain the space by understanding that we are Paramashiva, we are Parashakti, we are the Venkateshwara who is residing in us as a pure consciousness, which is the reason why we are even thinking, why we are seeing, why we are talking. It is the conscious choice what we are looking. When we are deluded and attached to all that in the outside, we are constantly into the bondage. And then we are losing out what we are come here for, the existential reality, to experience the ultimate. When we decide to look in for the higher science, simply we start understanding the greater science. When Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was sitting in the banks of the Ganga, when he saw the fishermen fighting, he immediately got, when the one fisherman hit the other fisherman, he got hurt in his back. He was in such a space of oneness, he even could experience as a physical reality what was going on in the outer world as himself. When the bird was flying, he felt like he was the bird and he was flying. He could experience everything as oneness, and he was able to experience everything as a reality. The beautiful space that we are, Bhagavan says, is the existential reality as it is. Whether the outside world exists or not exist in our deep sleep, it does not even exist. And in our waking state, we presume that it exists. But knowing all this, how does it change my reality? How does it change my understanding that it is going to heal me, or it is going to get me out of all this suffering? The higher the cognition, the higher the intelligence, the more we can experience the oneness. We are out of the struggle because we do not have that birth and death cycle where we can exist forever as eternal, as Bhagavan says, the complete Purnatva, whatever it is taken from us or whatever is done to us, we know we are the whole. If you become the owner of the company, if people take away your things or add to your things or leave the job, you know you are the owner. That does not change anything. Same way, how you are the Paramashiva, if you recognize that whatever is taken from you or whatever is something which changes in you, you know that you are Paramashiva, you can manifest all the reality how you want it, what you want. Beautifully, Bhagavan gives the Apta Pramana from Raghavendra's story, how Raghavendra manifested the power of mind reading. He was called to a place where Desai invited him, and he wanted to make a huge meal for him for the puja. And when they began to make the meal, they made lot of mangoes in a place. And the son ran to that place when the parents were not there. He fell into that big pot which was cooking the mangoes. And they did not realize till later they found out their dead son. And Raghavendra knew about that, but the couple just hid everything because they didn't want to disturb the puja. And Raghavendra just sprinkled the water after invoking Sri Krishna, and simply the small child woke up from the death and came. The avatars can manifest any reality in such a simple way. We know that Angambumbai was woken up when the Chettiar had just a pot of ash, and she was awakened from that. And Sundarar, he went to a village where he saw a couple crying, where they complained of the child being eaten by a crocodile. When Sundarar asked where it was, they said the river was here and it is now dried up. He not only got the child back, he got the river back, the crocodile back, and brought the child back to the age where it was the correct age right now. How the time travel, how these great things can just happen, which is like a movie for us. But the higher possibility each one of us can experience is the Paramashiva space, which can manifest beyond all that. Even in our dream, we are just sleeping, but every day we have the dream where we create people, where we create the things, where we create whatever we want as our reality or our fears. which comes as real, even though where it is coming from, we don't know. We are the creator of the manifestation of that dream. Same way Bhagavan says, this is also exactly same material it is made of. This is a dream. That doesn't mean we lose something. When we wake up from the dream, we do not lose anything. We know that nothing is lost. Rather, we have more control over how things happen and what things are. Same way, when we wake up to Paramashiva space, we recognize our Paramashiva space. We do not lose anything. We know that we are the whole, and nothing can be taken from the whole that will not be a whole. We are infinite. That is what again and again all the avatars again and again showcase for us. And beautifully, the Atma Pramana Bhagavan clearly, beautifully says, no, he says, nobody goes anywhere when they were alive. What space they were in, the same space they go. That's all. Come to the terms with the reality right now. Let reality not bring powerlessness in you. Let reality not lead you to incompletion. Let reality not make you suffer. Let reality not make you powerless. Coming to terms with the reality is completion. The complete completion happens, then we do not suffocate or suffer. We are in only the delusion that something other than us exists. And we are in the delusion that that is making us suffer. But if we know that everything is a perception of you who is creating, how you create your dream. Right now you're creating the very same dream, where if you understand to wake up to the higher reality, you will understand the greater science to get out of all the issues and understand you are Paramashiva who can manifest the greatest reality. Here Ma Parama, the sannyasi, shares her first experience with power manifestation of mind reading and solving the root problem of the health issue.
And I'm a disciple of Sri Paramahamsa Nithyananda Swamiji. How many of you would like to learn how to read other people's minds? How many of you have ever, looked at this, think how cool it would be if you knew what the other person was thinking, if you knew what was going through their head? So many decisions you can take based on that, right? It's pretty cool, huh? I have great news for you. Not only is it possible, it's now available for you, and you also can do it. So, let me share a secret with you. My Guru Sri Paramahamsa Nithyananda Swamiji is a living avatar. And through his initiation, he is awakening all the powers of Mahasarashiva himself. And this is one of such powers. Through this initiation, we can virtually see and tap into another person's third eye who is scanning another person. Sounds really too far-fetched, right? Let me share my story with this. I was out of India for about 2 weeks. During this time, Swamiji held a weekend workshop. And he introduced an Aushara product to the people. The Aushara is basically, in few words, cosmic energy infused in material matter. This can be applied, when applied to the body, can cause immense transitions and transformation to happen. Physically, we get healing. Mentally, we get healing. Our cognitive layer shifts from negative to positive. We are filled with a space of powerfulness and being able to create what we want, creating powerful thoughts in our system. So this Aushara was being given to everyone who was here at the program attending, and I felt I was losing out, I was missing out. That, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do this. But me and my fellow sannyasi, we decided, they were in a different place, I was in a different place, and we got together on Facebook doing like a video conferencing where I can see them and they can see me on Facebook Messenger. So when Swamiji gave the initiation to the people here and they all applied the Aushara, then he told them, look into the eyes of someone, into their eye, and let that person look at another person and scan their bodies. So I said, let us try. So two of my sannyasi friends were on the other side of the screen and I was looking at them on the internet. I looked through my third eye into one person's third eye while she was looking at the other person sitting at her and scanning that person's body. I relayed to her what I saw, which was she was dehydrated, she had a headache. I also relayed some of intestinal medical conditions she's had in the past and some other medical conditions she experienced in the past. I also went deeper into her system, almost as though I went into her very DNA. And I explained to her some of the cognitions and some of the characteristics of her mother, her father, even her grandparents. This was quite like visible to me. I could understand her parents' personality. This was phenomenal for me. It was mind-blowing. And I want to tell you, this science is available for you. If you are always wondered, how can I get this power? How can I do this? I'm intrigued by this. I want to learn more about this. Please come and do this program called Paramashivoham. In this program,
Beautifully, Bhagwan gives us the greatest science how we can experience the oneness and manifest the power of mind reading. If we understand all of us are connected, now they say neuroplasticity and mirror neurons, how we are connected. But the beautiful space of oneness that we can experience, just merge into the Paramashiva space, and more how you just merge into the deep sleep. Exactly like that, you keep chanting and Mahavakya and simply you experience the ultimate gift and you start experience the oneness. You can manifest the powers. Now you can call your friend and tell them you are going to be scanning them for a root cognition. Beautifully, they have said that first 7 years or maximum 10 years, we form the root cognition, and after that, we only again and again live that cognition. When we live again and again, it is like we are not able to have a breakthrough. And easily we can see in our life what is repeating, especially you can see others who are repeating the same pattern again and again. But to break that root cognition, if you start experiencing the oneness and you read about others' problems and just you get the answer of how they are suffering for because of what root cognition and explain to them it is actually how it is removing your root cognition. How a small child doesn't know what is anger, what is depression. Same way, only if we know something, we recognize that. If we don't know, we don't recognize. Because all this is their part of us that we recognize in others. By doing this exercise, we remove the root cognition and break the habits so that we can have a breakthrough of conscious reality, the consciousness, the Paramashiva space. More and more we can wake up to the higher science, more maturity happens in us, and more cognition, the higher intelligence starts unfolding as our reality instead of all this deluge and whatever we have to go through. Beautifully, you can call a partner, tell them that you're going to scan them and you're going to, whatever appears, just write the details. And at the end of the session or the cycle, you can call them and verify the details, whatever you have seen. And simply breaking from the pattern, understanding you are Paramashiva, the very ultimate space. You are the ultimate and you can manifest the ultimate if you cognize that you are ultimate. If you understand you're more than your body and the mind, and if you cognize that, that's all is enlightenment. All we are stuck with our only thinking of we are the body and we are the mind. But even those is not required during our sleep state or dream state. randomly the dream happened and we don't know what we are body. We don't know whether we are male or female. Nothing is there. We only know that we got up from the sleep or we went to the sleep. That very space, we can experience that as our reality right now. When we have the deep intention, if you have the deep intention, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says a beautiful story that Bhagavan quotes. The fish keeps jumping out of the pot. Again and again, it keeps jumping out of the pot. And it is in the